Russell Westbrook signing with the Kings, no surprise there if you've been following along this off season. But what Westbrook brings is like a former league MVP. He's a 9-time All-Star, a playmaker, a secondary point guard who contribute. He's played with Sabonis. He's played with, I think, half the guys on his team already, who he's very, very familiar with. And I think Westbrook's safest and likeliest fit is a dynamic backup for that six-man role off the bench with Malik Monk, who can bring the playmaking, the energy, and that veteran leadership off the bench that I think this team is surely going to need this season. Change of pace, ball handler to relieve Dennis in certain lineups, or maybe even start when Dennis rests. And Westbrook can push the tempo. He can create off pick and rolls. And even in Westbrook's later years, he still has the ability to force action. He can penetrate, collapse the opposing team's defenses, and make plays for other teammates. And that could help offset some of the offensive stagnation this Kings team has faced. Welcome back to another episode of our Kings-related podcast, wherever you may be. And on today's episode, it is preseason game number 3, with one more game to go before we get it started for real a week from tonight in Phoenix, Arizona against the Sun. And also, we'll talk about the Kings signing Russell Westbrook, what that means for this team for this upcoming season, and the breaking news earlier this evening, late afternoon, the Keegan Murray rookie extension. We'll talk about that as well. First, if you're watching this on our Kings-related YouTube channel, please hit that thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. It'd be much appreciated. Also available for free on whatever audio platform you use, Apple, Spotify, whatever platform you use. We're also available there. Please hit that follow button, rate 5 stars, and leave a nice review. That will also be much appreciated. The Sacramento Kings dropped to 0-3 in the preseason on this Wednesday night, falling to the Los Angeles Clippers 109-91. And I don't get much into the wins or the losses or the score, but there isn't a lot working for the Sacramento Kings through 3 preseason games. And they have a lot to figure out with the season opener a week from tonight out in Phoenix, Arizona. One, Domantas Sabonis is still flat on his 3-point shot, but everything else that he's doing in the preseason, it's clicking. Why would you try to change something that wasn't broken? Why change your 3-point shot and your quicker release? And it wasn't a problem before. Guys weren't blocking your shot before. Why fix something if it doesn't need fixing? That's one thing I don't understand with Sabonis' 3-point shot. Like, Sabonis, he dropped 15 points tonight, 14 rebounds. He's in mid-season form, by the way, in his rebounding. He also added 5 assists in this game before leaving in the second half with a right hamstring injury. Not great news that you want to hear as the regular season is about to begin next week. But Sabonis, he needs help on the glass now that Keegan Murray is out for a while because he can't do it alone. 3 games Sabonis and Zach LaVine are about the only positive things that I've taken away from these preseason games. LaVine is a silky, smooth player and a shooter, and going to the basket, he's playing with effort. And on the defensive end, I think there's been some bright spots defensively from Zach LaVine in these preseason games. And tonight, Zach posted 13 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds in this game. And this is something that I think is going to be an issue all season. The bench production. The Clippers bench filled with great players on that team because that's a really good Clippers team. I think if they stay healthy, they could be one of the top teams in the West this season. But the Kings need a better effort. And yes, you were without Malik Monk tonight, who was out because of illness. You need a better effort from your second unit. And Chris Paul tonight for LA diced up the Kings for 9 assists in his first 9 minutes as that Clippers second unit destroyed Sacramento. The Kings bench by a final of 63-40. And I think you're going to see a lot of that this season. And that's not a trend that is going to be very helpful this season. Another thing that wasn't great tonight, the 3-ball. And we know in today's NBA, if you can't make or shoot the 3, you probably aren't going to win a lot of games. And the 3-ball in today's modern NBA absolutely rules. And the Kings have a major problem hitting 3-point shots in these 3 games. It's hard to be in games or be competitive when your core players shoot 4 for 27 from long distance through 3 quarters. You're not going to win a lot of games when you shoot that poorly from the 3-point line. And this isn't a trend as much as it is a reality to this roster because the Sacramento Kings, through 3 preseason games, are shooting 30 of 109 or 27.5%. That is not great. It's really not great. It's awful. The Kings have got to find a way to shoot the 3-ball better as we get ready to start the regular season. Doug Christie testing some things out in this game. Dario Saric got the start in this game at the 4. He also used Isaac Jones, the power forward position in this game. And he mixed in Nick Clifford with the starters as well. And by the way, Clifford, as bad as the Kings were tonight, Clifford was the one lone bright spot from this game. He was really good in this game. Clifford's athleticism and his ability to defend multiple positions stood out. And Nick Clifford finished with 19 points and 3 rebounds in this game. The Kings' free agent signing and a shooter is struggling through these first 3 preseason games. The vet was more aggressive early in this game, but he only managed 4 points on 2 of 9 shooting. He only had 1 assist in this game. And that's where you see Russell Westbrook entering the picture here because the competition for minutes at the point guard position is about to be interesting with that signing of Russell Westbrook today for that point guard position. You know, the Kings, they started off well in this game because after they jumped out to a 16-8 lead, after that point, Sacramento was outscored 18-2 in the final 5 minutes of that first quarter. The Los Angeles Clippers were 5 of 12 from 3-point range, while the Kings only made 1 of the 10 attempts. not great after you got off to that good start. And then at halftime, the Kings were down 20 at halftime, and the Kings were held to under 40% from the field in that first half. They were 3 of 18 the 3-point range, and then after three quarters, the Clippers led 90-60 after three quarters in this game. But this was a really tough game to watch in this third preseason game. But again, Nick Clifford was the one lone bright spot in this game. He had some really good moments. So he was attacking the basket with confidence in this game. But overall, from a Kings perspective, it was not a great game from the Kings as a whole. But Clifford was the one bright spot. And you look at this Kings offense. The Kings offense has looked best this preseason, and ever since that De'Aaron Fox trade, when it has been playing more isolation, heavy basketball, and the idea that this team wants of a fast pace, heavy offense doesn't work well with the current Kings personnel. Don't have many playmakers or shooters on this team. And like, I don't know if this is just tend to be preseason basketball games, which truly means nothing. The Kings have had movement issues. If you want to go back to last preseason, and then you go back to the regular season, this offense just feels strictly similar to the end of last season, which what we saw last season in a very, very bad way. So 19 minutes, Clifford, the lone bright spot in this game, 16 points, 3 rebounds, a steal, 7 of 12 from the field. Like, he was like the one bright spot in this game, in a game where the Kings really didn't look great as a unit. I thought the third string guys off the bench, again, I thought they outplayed the Kings starters in this game for another preseason game. And that's not great to see when your starters are getting outplayed by your third stringers. So not great. Isaac Jones has some bright spots in this game against the Clippers. We'll see what his role will be as we head towards the regular season a week from tonight. But Russell Westbrook signing with the Kings, no surprise there if you've been following along this off season. But what Westbrook brings is like a former league MVP. He's a 9-time All-Star, a playmaker, a secondary point guard who contribute. He's played with Sabonis. He's played with, I think, half the guys on this team already, who he's very, very familiar with. And I think Westbrook's safest and likeliest fit is a dynamic backup for that 6-man role off the bench with Malik Monk, who can bring the playmaking, the energy, and that veteran leadership off the bench that I think this team is surely going to need this season. And he's done it in his recent seasons. Go look at what he did with the Denver Nuggets last year. And I thought Westbrook last year with the Nuggets, I thought he was really good. And given that this team already has Dennis Schroeder, Westbrook might come in as that change of pace ball handler to relieve Dennis in certain lineups, or maybe even start when Dennis rests. And Westbrook can push the tempo, he can create off pick and rolls, and even in Westbrook's later years, he still has the ability to force action. He can penetrate, collapse the opposing team's defenses, and make plays for other teammates. And that could help offset some of the offensive stagnation that this Kings team has faced especially with their perimeter shooters faltering and not seeing them hit that 3-point shot. And even though Westbrook doesn't have that explosiveness like he did early in his career, he's still aggressive, and that could open space for wing scorers like Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan to operate if their defenders have to respect Westbrook his drives towards the basket. And you bringing in a former league MVP, a 9-time All-Star, also sends a signal that this team wants to add some competitiveness, and it probably matches that identity that Scott Perry and Doug Christie are trying to build here in Sacramento, and that winning mentality, that intangible value that could help some of these younger players stabilize the rotation. So, you want to look at some of the challenges and the risks that could be in play here. You got the spacing and the shooting liability, because Westbrook's not a great 3-point shooter over time. Maybe the ball dominance at times where the ball just sticks. He takes over. He's not the same athletic person that he was. That explosiveness is not that same like it was earlier in his career. And still, you got that backcourt logjam with a guard-heavy team. So I do like this move by the Kings, because you needed true point guard on this team. So I like this move. And then you got Keegan Murray signing that 5-year rookie extension. That just signals that Keegan is part of this long-term core that Scott Perry is trying to build here in Sacramento, and he sees him as one of the faces of that core moving forward that he's trying to build here in Sacramento. So let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of the Russell Westbrook signing and the Keegan Murray contract? Let me know in the comments down below. And that will do it for this episode of our Kings related podcast. And we'll see you again Friday night for the final preseason game between the Kings and the Lakers down in Los Angeles. It is the final preseason game before we get it started for real next week. And take care, and as always, go Kings.